Hello, everybody. Welcome to In the Clubhouse with the Nats Report. My name is Hayden Raymer. I have to put out the link that we are live, but I hope you all are enjoying your February. I forgot to update that on the stream and on the YouTube. Uh, but yeah, how are you doing today, Jeremy?
I'm doing wonderful. It's been a day, but I'm excited to talk about baseball because it's been a long day, but that's
Mm-hmm.
okay.
It's
Very
okay.
excited.
Yeah, it is February 2nd today. Uh,
Ooh, happy Groundhog Day, everybody.
Groundhog Day. He said we're
I
gonna have
did
an
see his
early
shadow.
spring,
I
right?
saw his shadow. 6 more weeks of winter.
Yeah. How much do you buy into that, Jeremy?
How much do I buy into the Groundhog, Hayden?
Yeah.
Well, I saw a clip of them doing it, and
Uh
I'll
huh.
send it to you.
Uh huh.
But it was like a wrestling announcer. This
It's pretty
dude,
scientific. You
he
saying?
held up the groundhog and he was like ground hog with the groundhog in his hand. And
I saw
then
pictures of that.
and I mean I've seen the picture but I've never heard the announcement before. I didn't realize he did that.
Yeah.
And then they pulled out like a parchment paper, like a big old scroll, and he went down, he was like, I Puxatani Phil see my shadow on my stage today, which means no matter what happens, I think there's going to be 6 more weeks of winter. And I thought it was awesome. I think they should do Groundhog Day all
Every
the
day.
time.
For every season.
For every season. I think winter can be for the groundhog, summer, maybe we do like a hedgehog for summer,
Uh
Hedgehog
huh.
Day. And then
A wild
maybe
hog, for
yeah.
one of them.
That'd be for fall, and then you know and then spring could be uh something else. But no, I love Groundhog Day. How much do I buy into it though? 100%. It's gospel.
Mm.
Uh, it's gospel. I Groundhog always right. 100%
I
winning record.
I think that is incorrect. I think I saw today it was like 36%.
Well, that was the old Puxatawny Phil.
Okay.
What about the new one?
The new one. I think I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think he's only been in charge. This Puxatawny Phil has only been the Puxatawny Phil for like 3 years or something like that.
Okay. I mean that would mean he'd be in right once, but 36. I mean, that's close, not really. Anyways, Jeremy, we have a little bit of Nats news to talk about. The first of it being Israel Pineda got DFA'd in favor or for to clear space for Joey Gallo. We talked about Joey Gallo in the last episode. Just go listen to the one before this if you want to hear our thoughts on that. Uh, Pineda, he's outrighted off the 40-man roster. He's still with the organization. Are you surprised by him being the one to get the chopping block or getting
Um,
chopped?
you know, guess surprised isn't really the right word. Like I didn't expect that it would be him specifically.
Mhm.
But when they made the move, I was like, "Oh, yeah, that makes sense." Right?
Mhm.
He's a catcher when we have a deep position group there.
Yeah.
We've got Kuiper Ruiz, uh, Milas, and Adams already up in the majors. That's three guys, and then we have Velasquez above him in the major in the minors. Or not Velasquez. Sorry, the forgot his name. Piero Vicaro. Yeah.
I'm so
Am I going
confused.
insane?
I'm confused.
Am I going insane right now?
Go run down the names again. I'm very lost.
Okay, so catchers in the majors. We've got Ruiz, Milas, and Adams,
Yes.
right? And then Vaquero is ahead of him in the minors, right?
No. Vaquero's a outfield prospect, and he's in
I thought he
Fredericksburg.
was a cat.
The
No, that's
only
not who I'm talking about then. Who am I
uh
talking about?
I don't know who you're talking
There's
about.
another catcher ahead of him in the minors.
There's
I don't
not
have the list
really.
of whatever. It's already a crowded catcher room. There's
Yeah.
three guys ahead of him. my main point in all of that was to say, it makes sense.
Yeah. I was shocked he wasn't claimed.
Yeah, yeah,
But I
that's
guess that
fair.
says more about the Nats prospects than anything.
What do you mean? What do
Well,
you mean
you
by
could have
that?
claimed him for free, and you just would have had to give him a 40-man spot, and nobody wanted him. I don't know. I think that says more about him than anything. So, if you didn't get claims, that's good. Keep him within the system. Hopefully, he can bounce back because I mean, he was really bad last year.
He was really
He was
bad
real
last
bad
season.
last year.
Yeah.
But hopefully he bounces back in 2024 and competes again for a spot at some point, whether that's sometime in 2024 and 20 or in 2025. I don't think there's a whole lot more to talk about there though. I think he was just real bad, and then got not claimed. Now he's gonna play in the minors and try to earn his way back. If not though,
Mhm.
a lot of catchers. Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, I mean, the other big thing, Jeremy, that we really were going to talk about today was the non-roster invites. The first round of those came out. Obviously, the big three prospects were invited. A couple first basemen that they signed on minor league deals were invited. A different catching prospect was invited. Darren Baker, Trey Lipscomb, and then a bunch of other outfielders, a couple relievers. I guess what was like the big name, I guess, outside of Cruz, Wood, and House that you're kind of excited to see?
Excited to see a guy like Robert Hassel. I know he struggled a lot with he had a bit of a down year in the minors
Yeah.
last year. But you look at his tools and you look at what he has done. I mean, he's shown he can do it a little bit at least.
Hmm.
I'm excited to see him in spring training. Uh, obviously you've got the big three: Wood, Cruz, and Brady House. But outside of that, Robert Hassel is someone I'm excited to see up in spring training this season.
Yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to see Trey Lipscomb, see how he handles some major league pitching. Uh, just because, I mean, minor league defensive player of the year for the Nats, pretty good defender, very versatile defender. He played shortstop, third base, second base, uh, you know, in Double A last year. So he's kind of to me the heir apparent to like the Vargas type role,
Mhm.
where maybe he's slightly better defensively. Uh, Obviously, don't know how good of a clubhouse influence. We talked about how Vargas is kind of that glue guy that the Nats love to have hanging around. Uh, but yeah, no, I mean there's a couple minor league signings too recently. Robert Zellman. Uh, Sorry, car was very loud outside. Uh, Richard Bleer. I saw a lot of Nats fans get a little upset about that on Twitter. Uh, about us signing minor league guys, uh, to minor league contracts, but
That's
that
dumb.
that was interesting. That one I had to set my phone down for a little bit. I was like, that's enough Twitter for right now. Yeah, no, I mean nothing bad can happen with these guys getting signed. Uh, I think like Lasorsa is probably still the highest on the pecking order for that. But I mean, nice. It's good to have depth. You know, you never know when somebody gets
Hmm.
hurt. Somebody's real bad in the majors. Can call somebody up if somebody's real good. Uh, yeah, not a whole lot to talk about there, honestly. Uh, I'm gonna spring this one on you, Jeremy. I know we didn't talk about this. A lot of the
I'm ready.
prospect lists have been coming out the past few weeks. Ours included. Go check that out on thenasreport.com.
Good.
Uh, but Baseball America, ESPN, Baseball Prospectus all dropped their farm system rankings the past couple days, and the Nats were ranked in like the middle of the league in those farm system rankings. Does that worry you at all?
Um, no, not really. Um, I don't put too much stock into it. Like I know it matters,
Mhm.
but putting the Nationals here at Nationals here at I'm looking here on MLB Pipeline number
Mhm.
8. You know, it's still top 10. You look at I'm just pulling up ESPN right now.
I think that was gonna be. I saw here the Nats or not the Nats report. Talk Nats tweeted out here. I'll read it to you where they exactly all rank. Uh, but I mean, I think it. The issue is right. They have that top heavy system, and I guess the concern for a lot of people is now the depth of that system. You know,
Right, but
after Yohandy Morales.
that's always been how the Nats build their teams. You know,
Mhm.
like I mean, they haven't been rebuilding since pre 2010, right? And that's when they got Strasburg, Harper. You know,
Mhm.
that that was still a really top heavy farm system. You know,
Mhm.
like the Nats, even when they built their World Series team and their really good team, it wasn't really built off the farm. You know, it was built off. You had these top, super top prospects. You know, Harper, Strasburg, and then you went out and you got these free agents. You know,
Mhm.
you had your top heavy guys that you knew were going to be hits, and then the rest of it you just kind of filled in with good signings.
Mhm.
And the way that they're doing it now is similar. You know, I you could build like the Orioles, or you could build like the Mariners, you know, where you have this super deep farm that will pay dividends over and over again, and that's one way to build. But that takes a really long time. The Nats have done this rebuild. If we want to, if we want to see where they are, like where 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 at least I'm projecting them to
Mhm.
be a fringe playoff team this year. Like I don't think they're going to make it, but I think if everything clicks, they could sneak into a wild card this year.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's insane for me to think, but
You're counting on a lot to go right. Uh,
like I said, that's if everything clicks. They could sneak into a wild card. I don't
even
think they're
I
going
mean,
to, but I
I
think that's
guess.
their
Do you think
ceiling.
they're 500?
Yeah, I think they're 500. I think they're a 500 team this year.
Do you want to know what Vegas thinks they're gonna do this year?
I'd love to hear what Vegas thinks
I,
they're going to do
if I
this year.
remember correctly, uh, Vegas has them at like 65 wins. I'm double checking.
They hit 70 last season, and I think they're a better team. Straight
I,
up.
I'm just saying that I think the Nats are very much. They're still projected to be like a bottom four team in the league. Bottom four teams in the
Right.
league according to Vegas.
Anyway, my point in what I'm saying here is that they blew this team up 2 years ago. You know, it's been a really short rebuild to get to where we are right now, and I know it's not done. I'm well
Mhm.
aware of that, but to get to where they are now, it's been 2 3 years. You know, this isn't like this isn't like the Orioles who were in this slump for 10 years. You
Mhm.
know, this isn't like the Mariners who are in this slump for 20 years. This has been a relatively quick turnaround by the Nationals. So I'm not that concerned. When they won that World Series, they were probably ranked as one of the worst farm system. And the fact now that they are on top 10 lists for farm system this quickly, you know, it's a good sign. And I don't really think it matters that much because the Nats are building they're trying to build their contending team differently than some of these other teams are.
Yeah, and I think that's fair, but I think a lot of that relies on the Nationals having people up in the big leagues now, right? Uh,
Right.
who in this lineup can you count on to have an 800 OPS this year?
Who can I count on? No one.
And I think that's the issue is, if you're gonna even to be a fringe wildcard team or even a fringe 500 team, you need offense from somewhere. You're asking Kyber Ruiz to take that step forward finally. You're asking CJ
CJ
Abrams
Abrams.
to take that step forward. You're asking Lane Thomas to show that what he did was not a one off, which he would have been traded at the deadline if teams thought that that wasn't a one off. Uh,
Right.
Joey Gallo, he can kind of get up there if, the batting average isn't atrocious, which, I mean, it has been atrocious the past few years. Stone Garrett, maybe. Nick Senzel isn't getting an 800 OPS. Uh,
Joey
I
Meneses could
he
if he gets
could,
his pop back.
but like
Uh,
there's a lot of
and
there's a lot of ifs, and I think
this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying, Hayden. Like, that's why that's their ceiling. Their ceiling this year is is sneak into that final wild card. And when I say sneak, I mean sneak. I don't mean, oh look, they're gonna make the playoffs. No, that's their ceiling. That's their everything goes great and everything clicks type
mhm.
season this year. You know?
I have a hard time imagining this roster going not even playoffs out of the question. I have a hard time seeing them even go 500 with the way this roster is currently constructed. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of the biggest Nat optimists there is, Jeremy. You know this. We do this show, all the time. We predicted that they were gonna sweep the Phillies. All right, like we did. You don't remember this? Like we're
I
like, oh yeah,
don't.
they're gonna sweep the Phillies in this 4 game series. They might lose this game one, but like the rest of the games, it's a lock. And they got destroyed, Jeremy. All right, it's there's just too many question marks where I can confidently say, and that's just the lineup. Josiah Gray took a giant step forward last year. He's still, I mean, he was an all-star, but I think there's a difference between being an
An
all-star and
all-star and
being
being
in
the
a,
auto bid all-star.
yeah, exactly. And I think he's still far from being like an actual all-star. Uh, Mackenzie Gore and Josiah Gray was the best pitcher on the Nats last year by F4, which I think we can both sit here and agree that's the best way to value a player. Is some war metric, he was the best. No
Mm-hmm.
matter which one you look at. And I think you and I can both sit here realistically and say, yeah, Josiah is not an ace.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah, and I think like you're counting on a lot to go right for him to be an ace next year. I think you're
Right.
counting on
I
a
mean,
lot of these guys to be an ace next year.
it's
And
just
we saw
that
Patrick Corbin and Trevor Williams in the rotation.
yeah, and it's just that the Nats won 70 games last season. You know, they did. They hit that 70 game mark, which I thought they were only going to win like 62 last year, and then they hit 70. You
Hmm.
know, so like I just think they're better than last year.
Yeah, but they were also had a bottom 5 ERA last year, and they were top lower third of the league in runs scored in
Right.
OPS. You know, so it's yeah, I understand they won 71 games last year, but how is that sustainable? I guess. And with the current farm system,
The
you
way
need that depth.
the way that they were playing is totally sustainable. They were not playing great baseball last season. And
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying is it's not sustainable at all. Exactly. But I is Joey Gallo. Yeah, he's not a 10-win player. Is what I'm saying.
no, I agree. I just think this is roster. I would hammer that Vegas over
Okay.
at 65.
Yeah.
Just I think it's a better team
I
than
I I
last
think
year.
I agree. I think that is very low. Uh, but I still have a hard time if you set the line at 80. I would take the under.
82 I would take under,
I would take the under on 80. I would take the under on
but
75.
I think I'd put the line at 73, maybe 71. maybe 70. Somewhere around 70 is where I'd put it.
Yeah.
But I just think they're gonna win 70 games this year,
Hmm.
somewhere around there.
I just
Um,
I think we've sat here and we've traded a generational Hall of Famer. Uh,
who's coming back? Of course, of course.
Listen, if he comes back, then all my qualms, all my concerns are gone. All right, but until then, we've traded him. We've had pretty good draft. We've picked the top 5 of the draft multiple times, and we don't really have much to show for it. James Wood, obviously, Dylan Cruz, Brady House was from before we started really rebuilding. Okay, but you would think we'd have more now. Yeah, obviously, Josiah, Kybert, uh, CJ, Mackenzie Gore were all like major league ready when we acquired them in trades. But Robert Hassel slid back pretty far. Jarlin Susana slid back pretty far. Elijah Green is, I mean, I say the stat where no guy has had a productive major league career when they strike out that much in low A. Now, obviously, there's always gonna be the first for something like that. Uh, but you can't bet on him being the first. And even if these guys take the step forward, yeah, I mean, you're relying on James Wood and Dylan Cruz to hit that ceiling, and Brady House to hit that ceiling. Because if they don't, I don't see a happy 2019, or 2012 to 2019 run where they're one of the best teams in the National League.
Right, and I agree with you.
And that's where my
But
concern is, and that's where I'm saying, should we be concerned now that the Nats farm system, it's ranked as high as 15th on those 3 lists that I said, and as low as
I'm
16.
I'm not ready to hit the panic button yet.
Okay,
I
that's
think
fair.
it's too early to do that.
Yeah, I think the flag is there. The red flag is in our sight line, and I think it's we gotta talk about it.
We got orange flags up on the beach. Strong currents. Not a riptide yet.
Not a riptide yet. Okay.
Not yet.
Uh, I talked a lot about this with other people who came on the show. I don't think we've talked about it yet. Is there someone that you think is gonna have like a monumental breakout in 2024?
If anyone's gonna do it on the Nats this season, it's gonna be Mackenzie Gore. He just looks. I mean, you talk about him and Josiah Gray kind of together because they kind of are in similar states of development. I guess
Mhm.
is the word here. Uh, but when I watch Mackenzie Gore, his stuff, when I see him pitch, and when he's on, he's the ace of this team. I think. Like, as much as Josiah Gray is by all metrics better than him right now, if only slightly,
Mhm.
or whatever the numbers are, when just by the eye test, Mackenzie Gore is the ace of this team, right? And there's games, there's stretches, there's where he's like punching the ceiling. You know,
Mhm.
he's he's got his boxing glove on. He's trying to get up there.
Mhm.
He just seems like he's prone to break out any day now. You know,
Mhm.
and hopefully bring a guy like Doolittle in to help with that, uh, and and push him, get him to break through it. But he's someone that I I really believe could make that a huge jump this season, and I think that could make a big difference. I mean, we talked about um, the entire national pitching staff. I know you're working on something
Mhm.
with the Nats pitching staff, with their placement and their types of pitch usage and stuff, and that's an easy fix. You know, that's an easy fix that could make a world of difference, not just for Gore, but for Gray, for Rutledge, for Irvin, for all these guys. Uh, I I think Mackenzie Gore is a guy that could make a huge leap. Like truly, we were just talking about how Gray was that had to be All Star, but I think Gore could be an actual All Star this season.
Yeah, no. With Gore, just to give a little sneak peek, his fastball leaks down a little more than you would like. When he throws that thing up, it's hard to touch. Where it's kind of like Doolittle, where it's like you just throw it at the top of the zone all day. Who cares about throwing it low? Yeah, you're gonna get burnt every once in a while, but you just throw that at the bottom of the zone. And with the extension that he has and how hard he throws it, it's darn near untouchable. As long as he can kind of keep that somewhat in the zone, where guys are still chasing. Where I definitely agree where he probably has the best breakout potential when it comes to like pure upside.
Mm-hmm.
I think if we're talking about like results from last year to results to next year, I think Kyber Ruiz. It's hard to be a historically bad catcher 2 seasons in a row. It is doable, but I think he's probably you know, he went from being he just hurt his value so much from just being atrocious defensively. We can kind of see the bigger, you know, difference in WAR with him. I think is more likely.
Mm-hmm.
Where I think Gore can settle in as like a nice 3 WAR starter. Ruiz I think has a shot to jump into as a regular, at least be considered a regular catcher by all of MLB. Which right now I think not many people are comfortably saying that he's going to be a 2 WAR catcher next year.
Right. And I mean, it's not really that hard because before last season, he was at least average defensively,
I think he was a plus defender.
right? And it took a nosedive. It was like
Yeah,
out of nowhere.
it was really bad.
That's not him. I don't think. I don't
Yeah,
know who it was, but it's not him.
yeah. I mean, you definitely hope that that is not the trend. I mean, he was the worst defender in baseball. Like that's you don't want that to happen 2 years in a row. Otherwise, I think then we can definitely raise that red flag if he does that. Uh, do you want to talk about the Orioles at all?
Yeah,
I'm not across the
absolutely.
beltway. We kind of got to talk about them. They sold partially 40%. Cal Ripken's in that ownership group. I think that would sway certain people a little bit more, buy some good favor, I think. Uh,
I agree.
but they traded for Corbin Burns the other day.
They got Corbin Burns.
Corbin Burns.
They're gonna
Uh,
be good.
he's a top 10 pitcher in baseball. Uh,
They're gonna be really good.
I was running that list in my head. I was like, okay, who would I put above Corbin Burns for sure right now? I have five that I can definitively say I think are better than Corbin Burns. Uh, you can make an argument that he's top five, but I think there's
In all of baseball
in
or
all of
just
baseball,
the American League?
in all of baseball. Do we want me to run through
Garrett
my
Cole.
list?
I'm trying to think. Garrett Cole over him.
Uh huh.
Um, oh, they're old now.
Yeah.
Hmm. He's up there.
He's
You
up
could
there.
definitely make a top five argument.
You can make a top five argument. I think Kevin Gosman is really underrated. You go look at his numbers.
He almost won the Cy. He almost won the Cy Young last year.
He's top three, uh, for sure. I think Zach Wheeler's best. Well, not best pitcher in baseball. I think he's top five. I think
That's one I was thinking about, but I.
I'm a big
Hmm.
Wheeler guy. I think I don't. If they then ask to go get Juan Soto and Zach Wheeler next offseason, I'll take back any bad thing I've ever said about ownership and Rizzo. That would make me really happy. I this might be slightly biased. I think George Kirby is better than Corbin Burns. I know
No,
you're gonna give that.
no,
He's insane,
I
Jeremy.
no.
And then Spencer Strider.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep. Spencer Strider.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think all 5 of those are better than him, but George Kirby's the real deal, Jeremy. Let me tell you,
I know he's the real deal, Hayden,
he's the
but
real deal,
no,
Jeremy.
no,
He
he's
doesn't.
not better than Corbin Burns right
He's
now.
better than Corbin Burns right now. He strikes out the world, and he doesn't walk anybody. Literally does not walk anybody, Jeremy. He walked 2.5% of the batters he faced, Jeremy.
Really good.
It's
Really
really
good.
good.
That's
Like
really good.
he,
Yeah.
I'm looking to see how many batters he walked total. Uh, real quick for you. He walked 19 batters in 190 innings.
Light work.
Yeah. Also
That's
struck out
insane.
22% of the guys he faced too.
Pretty good. It's pretty good.
And I was listening to an interview. He like just decided he wanted to learn a splitter, and then it was like, a top 10 splitter in the league.
Good for
Like,
him.
yeah. I wish I was good at that good at something. Uh, but we can't all be George Kirby. Is there
No.
anything else you want to talk about? Any other thoughts?
Oh, my brain's empty.
Your brain's empty. It's all good. Mine is too most of the time. But yeah, no. Go check out the Nats report. We got a lot of fun things coming out. Our 40 and 40 series where we break down that entire 40-man roster. I just am now realizing I need to assign Joey Gallo to somebody. Uh, yeah, no, it'll be a lot of fun. There's that, Jeremy's, teased it a little bit for me earlier. The pitching, I'm fixing the Nationals pitching staff. You're
All
welcome.
by himself.
You're welcome. That's front office. Hire me. There's a new like subscriber chat for subscribers. If you want to join that subscriber chat, you can go to thenatsreport.com/Hayden, www.thenatsreport.com/Hayden. You get like a 7-day free trial. You can go chat. I think right now we're talking about uh, the non-roster invite list. We'll probably talk about the second list when that comes out. I forgot to ask you, Jeremy. Are you shocked Yohani Morales wasn't on that list?
Yes, that was something I was gonna bring up, but
You forgot.
then I forgot. Yeah,
Yeah, it
I was
happens.
a little surprised he didn't get an invite, but like
He
he
will.
he needs to cook a little bit in the minors.
He'll probably play in some games at the with big league camp, but he'll probably spend most of the time in minor league camp just because they want to Nick Senzel.
Yeah, he needs to cook a little bit.
Yeah.
A little raw. Put him back in the oven.
Mhm. He's like a cake or something. I don't know. All right. Well, thank you for watching the one person. My dad, thank you for watching the show live. You can listen on YouTube and on any podcast streaming service, probably on the third. Uh, Once again, yeah, check out the Nats report. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you all next Wednesday. Hopefully with some more news. Spring catchers, pitchers, and catchers are reporting
They report.
on next Wednesday, I think. Right?
Ooh.
No, that's not right. It's
I
like
think
two
it's
two
Thursday.
Wednesdays. It's 2 Wednesdays. I'm way ahead of the
Wednesday.
game. All right.
He's ahead
Peace
of the
out.
game.